What difficulties was the Apostle Paul facing while he was writing this to the Romans?
The Apostle Paul was really one of the only ones. You can see it a little bit with Peter at times, but Peter bounced in and out of his depth of being able to control himself. The Apostle Paul was the only one out of them all that had an urgency and laid a tremendous importance on the process of the Christian life. That process of the Christian life and the how-tos of the Christian life are all laid out by the Apostle Paul. They're not laid out by the Apostle Peter. They're not laid out by the Apostle John. John says, if you love him, this is what you'll do. Peter says, really, you have no hope. But Paul comes back and gives us a step-by-step understanding on how to handle the Christian life and to become a son of God in a dark world.
Thompson,
Is that understand?
Are you guys able to follow me even with the feedback that's going on? Okay, we hear you pretty clearly. You're kind of breaking up a little bit, but I just want to make sure that we're all able to follow along with that. So are you good with that answer, Pastor Rob? Do you want us to move on to the next question?
No, does anyone have a question about what I just said?
Anybody want to ask a question?
The Apostle Paul was all about process. He talked about an individual's process of their Christian life. How do you walk out this life of faith? This life of faith is not that I say that I believe and therefore what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move along with Jesus as my God. Because when you go off to the foreign field, they don't have a problem in standing up and all raising their hand and saying that they want to accept Jesus Christ as a Savior and as their God, because they have hundreds of gods. The whole idea is that the life of faith is not faith in the arena of belief. It is in the arena of a submissiveness of life and an embracing of a new lifestyle that is defined by God's manual that he has left us here on the earth.
Now, would that be the same as you had mentioned to us before about faith being character? Would that be along the same lines?
Exactly. Is that the greatest word in the English language to the word faith would be character. Abraham believed God. What did he believe about God? He believed God's character. He believed what God would do. And that faith is that we're willing to give up all of our humanity for all of his deity and receive that internally, not just in my mind, not just in my life. It's really all about everything. On October the 28th, when I was in the mental institution, that was a day that Bob Thompson died. The day you come to Christ is the day that you cease to exist. Now, people really, they don't have a problem with that statement. Where they begin to have their challenges is that what do I do in between God's moments of touching my life? How am I supposed to handle when the pressures of life and the temptations of life and the peer pressures and the pressures of society and the money pressures and the marriage pressures and the children's disobedience, what do I do? And that's where a person's faith is really strengthened. That's where a person lives by faith. And that's where throughout the epistle to the Romans, you'll find after chapter 8, the Apostle Paul goes back once again to the doctrine of election of the Jews, but tells them look, don't be proud because God was the one who chose you, because he didn't choose you because you were strong. He didn't choose you because you were great. He didn't choose you because you chose him. He chose you because he loved you, which is the very same thing that it is for us. He chose us because he loved